We are talking about in this video. We are talking about the another topic of class 7th history, chapter number 2, and the topic is struggles and conflict for control and wealth. Till now, we have studied about the different rulers or the dynasties which rose to the power during the early medieval India. Now, we are studying about the struggles and conflicts among these rulers, among these dynasties for getting control and the power. So, during the early medieval phase of history, the Rajput rulers and the non Rajput rulers were constantly at war with each other. They ruled over their own specific region. They ruled over their own specific regions, but were never satisfied with the control and always wanted to extend their region for want of power or simply greed for an area that would yield rich resources. So, for getting rich resources, they continuously fought with each other for the control and wealth. So the most famous struggle was the tripartite struggle. Tripartite struggle for the control and wealth. This was the most famous struggle. One major cause of conflict was the city of Kannauj in the Ganga Valley. This struggle was taken place just because of the city of Kannauj, which is very rich city in the Ganga Valley, which is also very fertile region. For centuries, rulers Gurjara Pratiharas, Rajputas and the Palas, they fought for control for Kannauj and the fertile region of the Ganga Valley. So, this struggle between the three dynasties is suitably described as the tripartite struggle. But ironically, none of the three would hold Kannauj for long. The infighting weakened all three, and within 100 years, the power of the three dynasties declined. The Rajputas were overthrown by the later Chalukyas. The Rajputas was thrown by the later Chalukyas. The Palas were under threat from the Cholas and were later overthrown by the Sen dynasty. So Palas was overthrown by the Sen dynasty. Rajputas were overthrown by the Chalukyas. And the Pratiharas, the Gurjara Pratiharas dynasty broke up completely and a number of smaller states came into being. The riches of Kannauj weakened and ultimately diminished all the three powers involved. All three powers involved were weakened. So this is the tripartite struggle for Kannauj. Now next we'll study about the invaders. Now if we talk about different dynasties in India, so if different rulers were there in India, it means the India was rich, right? So so there were different invaders also which came from northwest to plunder India. They were basically the Muslim invaders, and the two invaders were the Mahmud of Ghazni and Muhammad Ghori. So we talk about first Mahmud of Ghazni. He was an invader. So Mahmud of Ghazni, Sultan Mahmud of Ghazni had heard the tales of wealth in the country that was Afghanistan's neighbor. That country was none other than India. Mahmud had extended his control over parts of Central Asia, Iran, and northwestern parts of the subcontinent. He wanted to make Ghazni, which is now in Afghanistan, the most powerful kingdom. He needed a large army and a lot of resources and wealth for that. So he was aware of the wealth of the kingdoms of North India. Money was required to raise a large army. So he led the first invasion to get hold of the wealth in India. It was not difficult for Mahmud to invade India. Disunity among the rulers made Mahmud's task easier. He raided India 17 times between 1000 AD and 1025 AD. How many times? 17 times. He defeated the rulers of northwestern India and plundered cities, palaces, and temples. The raid on Somnath Temple. The raid on Somnath Temple in 1026 AD in Kathiawar was the most famous raid of Mahmud Ghazni. The temple was demolished and its wealth carried back to Ghazni. Much of the wealth from India was used to create the capital of Ghazni. So Mahmud was successful because he was a well organized scholar. He was a well organized, general. He planned in advance and took care of all the needs of his soldiers who were to march from Afghanistan to India. He was very quick and came year after year, giving little time to the rulers of North India to reorganize themselves. So Sultan Mahmud patronized a scholar Al-Biruni. Al-Biruni was the scholar of Mahmud. He wrote an Arabic account called Kitab-i-Hind, which is a detailed account of the Indian subcontinent and the invasion. It is an important source of the historians. So after Mahmud's death in 1030 AD, his successors showed no interest in India.